Hi, my name is Siphelele Dyantyi. I am a PhD student based at the NRF-SAIAB institution, registered through Rhodes University. Happy World Ocean Day. My project effectively is looking at similarities and differences between natural coastal sites such as Cannon Rocks and Kinney Bay, where you'd find rocky shores, and urban sites such as with ports or harbors. And I'm looking at three different things. I'm looking at the physiology of early life stages of invertebrates, specifically mussels, and how they cope with a variety of temperature changes. Secondly, I'm also looking at the complexity of the surfaces that they are attaching onto, because benthic organisms usually settle and recruit onto hard substrata. So I'm contrasting between the urban and the natural sites in terms of surface complexity. And then lastly, I'm looking at the ambient soundscapes. So I'm basically going to characterize the ambient soundscape underwater using hydrophones between the natural and the urban sites. The ocean is vast, it is very diverse, there's so much to do and there's so much to look into depending on your interests. In my case, I'm looking at the soundscapes, as sound has been, not recent but fairly recent, has been a point of interest for many scientists, marine scientists, ecologists, whether it's freshwater or marine. And you know, we are adding a layer in terms of importance to what to consider when establishing marine protected areas. Sound is a cue or a signal that animals, or invertebrates in my case, actually use in terms of, you know, once they have been spawned out into the ocean, they have to travel back to rocky shores in terms of settling and recruiting. So sound has been shown by many studies that it's an important factor. The ocean, man, is very vast. It depends what you are really interested in, but that's what really makes me, that's what creates the wonder about ocean. Looking at the three components in my study in terms of complexity, you know, ports or urban coastal sites where there's ports and marinas, you can't necessarily go backwards and say let's destroy them because they're harming the environment, because at the end of the day they do contribute to the economy, local employment, and as such. So the question now remains is, are urban sites surrogates in terms of the surface that they provide, in terms of habitat, because the surface provides habitats for various species. So are urban sites surrogates for natural sites? Do they provide a similar environment, or do they provide a different environment? And you know, how do these animals cope in that? Soundscape, first of all, I think my component is more of a foundational basis, because in South Africa not much has been done in terms of soundscapes and what's happening underneath the surface of the water in terms of sound. So to see what is the difference between an urban site and a natural site will be quite interesting. And then lastly, in terms of physiology, that one can directly or indirectly link to climate change, because we test and we ran trials where we wanted to see how much metabolic oxygen, like looking at the metabolic oxygen consumption rates, how much oxygen do they consume at various temperatures, which sort of gives us an indication of how well do they cope with different temperatures. So with the whole issue of climate change, you know, and global warming, it links to that aspect.